So, good afternoon. How are y'all doing today? You might notice there are a few changes today. First of all, Ron is unable to join us, so as assistant superintendent, I get to run the meeting. Ms. Barbara's not here pirouetting around here taking pictures today, so Mr. Dawson will not be pirouetting.
No,
He'll be. He may be tap dancing, but that's about the best.
Yeah,
that's right. Mike Barry also was not here. He and Teresa are off somewhere doing something else. So Stan is going to stand in for Mike doing the treasurer and member welfare. Russ is not here. So I'll be up here doing Russ's report. So there's a huge shuffle. But the biggest change is introducing Darcy Elliott as the new Division 8 superintendent. Sir, it's all yours. All right. I'm done.
Well, as Ron would say, it's 1 minute after 2. Y'all ready to rumble? Let's get ready to rumble. All right. Well, welcome to the May meeting. Best division on the planet. You guys are the greatest. Another change that wasn't mentioned is the new Division 8 slide level that we are transitioning to. Apparently. Isn't that pretty? That's wonderful. All right. So, as always, our agenda, call to order. Welcome, everyone. Are we doing guests first? Yeah. Well, the calendar. And then, yeah. We have 2 new members, Tom Rittenauer and David McCrae. Are either one of them here? No. All right. No, not online either? All right. Do we have any guests or first-timers? First time at a meeting? So you're all veterans. So I don't need to do anymore. All right. Do we have any guests? Nothing online either? All right. Well, welcome visitors.
Nothing online.
Nothing online. Thanks, Rob. All right. So I guess the first order of business is to deal with the minutes from the last meeting. So I am looking for a motion to move. Second. All in favor? Opposed? No? All right. Done. All right. Now we're introducing Stan White for the treasurer's report.
As he said, I'm filling in for Mike. I'm not as good looking as Mike, but at short notice, this is the best they could do. And then,
You'll make up for it by being quicker.
yes. Formerly nicotine stained hands. Here is the report. Had expenses last month. So that is the treasurer's report.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Was it Ed?
Ed Brennan.
It was I.
All in favor? Sorry, not in favor. All right. Next. Kate. Again.
Yeah, membership welfare, we had David Burris, who was in the hospital, and he is out now and doing well. Procedure went well. And we had one, this is the ones that really hurt. We have a member that passed away last time, Robert Hoffman, and hate to see that. Also, just a reminder, if you hear someone who went in the hospital or someone that passed, and let Mike know first, and then let one of the board members know, so that we don't miss anybody. Okay. Any questions on the member welfare?
He just gave the program less than a year ago.
Yeah, he did. It was just very sudden. Very sudden.
Thanks, Dan. All right, achievement program. No, monthly modeling contest. All right. Barry, I think this is you.
Okay. So let's face it, we all love cabooses, don't we? There's nothing that makes a railpan or a modeler more nostalgic than seeing a caboose at the end of the train. So fortunately, we have 7 wonderful cabooses that were entered by our modelers for this month's contest. And first of all, we just want to say thank you to all of our honorable mentions who shared their handiwork with us. Quite a variety there. Bob Frankbrone's Abandoned and Forgotten caboose, We've all seen them looking like that on deadlines, haven't we? And Craig Hatter, L&N Northeastern caboose number 998. That is a prototype for L&N. So that's kind of cool seeing that put together by Craig. David Merce on the Illinois Central, and that's one of the more modern extended vision cabooses there on IC Orange. And then Eric Wagner's Seaboard Coastline Family Lines steel caboose. Again, another unusual prototype there that he modeled really well. So congratulations to our honorable mention folks. Now, for those that placed, we've got some great efforts, starting off with Bob Kukler, MMR, for third place with his Northern Pacific Shorty caboose. So he took a long caboose and he brought it down to prototype there to
I love that.
yeah, it's real cool, real cool. So thank you, Bob. Second place was Ed Brennan, MMR, and his has a fun little title to it. Hey, David, bring your camera. So I heard Ed online there. Ed, tell us about the title for your entry there.
Well, the way the description read, Barry, was that this thing had shown up years later, just having been refurbished, and something we didn't expect to see. It was sitting at the passenger station, having just come out of the paint shop, and that's why the title.
So thank you for that great story. That's part of that. Again, taking an unusual prototype and bringing it to life on the model railroad. So thank you, Ed. Now for first place today, Steve Lasher. And his is a great title too, Bringing Up the Markers. We love to see those markers at the end of the cabooses back in the earlier days. And this one is from the Cotton Belt. Again, taking something and making it into a treasure with lots of loving care and lots of great decals. So congratulations to Steve. Okay, as we move forward now, we're going into our last category of the modeling contest year, which is open loads. For Division 8, we get enthused about open loads, so we can save it for last. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great modeling there. This particular category, we really focus on the loads. So as you look at the models, as you vote and everything, and we encourage you to vote early and often. Couldn't resist since we're in election season right now. But we do encourage you to take a close look at the actual open load modeling versus when we have our freight car category where we focus more on the actual freight car. And then in July, we're all going to be together at the Division 8 picnic, which is going to be up at Salem again this year. We all love going up there, and we will be giving away lots of awards. So that's going to be awesome.
And we won't have to wear masks this time.
Oh, is that not the case? So thank God for what a few years has done for COVID. We're grateful it's going back around. And hantavirus, no. Stay away, stay away. Okay, so anyways, we will get Steve's certificate to him in the near future, hopefully. So congratulations to all our modelers.
All right. Good. Next is programs, meetings, and upcoming events, and Mr. Soward is stepping in.
All right, I'm just going to stand here. I'm not going to do a Russ impersonation at all, so we're going to go from here. Up today, of course, is Craig Hatter. I saw Craig walk in. Where are you? There he is in the back corner. Craig also brought a few things to take a look at over here. I thought I saw you come in. What'd you bring in with you?
I just brought open loads because
Okay.
did his last one and I wasn't here for that, so I bring him here.
Okay, cool.
That's not, none of that's gonna be entered in the contest. That just shows you what you can do.
That shows us what the competition could be.
It's not that.
All right, Craig. So in a few minutes, Craig will be up here and showing us everything about vehicles. Next month, Russ will be here. He'll be here in person. He promises that he will be here and talk about operations around his roundhouse, the engine facility. So the roundhouse, the diesel facility, and all that's involved in that. On his railroad, when we do ops, we actually have a separate turn that does just this. It services everything around all the engine facilities there in West Buffalo. So Barbara and Jim Mayer ran that a couple nights ago, And they were busy for well over an hour working that job. There's quite a bit to do. And Russ is going to tell us about all the things that went into creating that space and what it takes to actually run that turn. It's pretty interesting. Not your normal switch a boxcar for a boxcar sort of thing. And there's a lot of moving around in there and coordinating with the dispatcher, who's an ornery guy, okay, will barely give you control of your own turnouts, and talking with the passenger terminal that's right next door to you.
And he has a phone fetish too.
Yeah.
What now?
He has a phone.
The dispatcher has a phone fetish.
Oh, no. Just want you to pick up the phone. That's it. That's it. Just pick up the phone. What's up next? So next, and Barry alluded to this a couple minutes ago, and that's the picnic. And where's it going to be? What date?
July
18th.
What time are we going to meet and greet?
11:30.
And what time is lunch going to be served?
High noon.
What's it going to cost you? Next slide. That's right. So there will be a little program in addition to the meal and the visiting and the awards presentation. There will be a little presentation on the Monon. That's what we have scheduled. And then visit the railroad, the model railroad in the basement. They've been doing a lot of work. The technology they used when they first built it was very good for its day, but it's tired. And there are some issues with it. So they're replacing it with Arduinos and more. It's pretty neat what they're doing down there. And of course, originally it was not a DCC railroad, it was a DC railroad. So they've gone to that extent as well. So it's pretty neat to see what's going on down there. True, we will not have masks, but we're still going to have some members of the board with aprons and serving y'all again. So
Is the Monon presentation the same guy that did the Historical Society a week or so ago? Okay, good.
Yes.
That's good.
I live 10 miles south of Salem. I'd like to open the house up if anybody wants to come see a layout.
Wow.
I think that's a great idea. Get the information to us and then we'll get that out to everybody, okay? But after the meeting, not right this minute. All right, thanks, Al. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah. Now you back to basics.
So now officially, because we have an agenda and we've gone through the entire agenda, we don't need a motion to adjourn. We just adjourn. But wait, there's more.
Back to basics.
Back to basics.
All right.
That's right. Since I'm already up here, I'll just slide the seat because that's a little easier than trying to tell Darcy when to flip the slides.
Nice job, Mr. Darcy.
So, continuing on this story of narrowing your focus to stretch your modeling dollar. Does anybody know where I got the idea to do this series? Look to your right. That's right. Mr. Darcy gave me this idea. So this is actually part 3 of this. We talked about 3 things: authenticity, we talked about time and location, and this time it's time to talk about good enough. What's good enough? What's good enough for you may not be good enough for me. What's good enough for what you do with your railroad and what I do with mine probably is not going to be exactly the same. It might not even be close to that. So let's talk about freight cars. And you could extend this out to the scenery, to structures, to track work. In fact, let's talk about track work real quick, okay? Rick, do you build any of your N-scale track work that's on your layout?
Not an N-scale, no.
Not an N-scale, you wimp.
G-gang.
There's a guy up near Novi that actually scratch built, hand laid all of his N-scale track work.
Did you put it down shop like?
His layout is about 8 by 2. Okay, so that was good enough for him because he was able to do that on a small scale. Rick would still be laying track on his layout as big as it is.
Yeah,
You know, you'd never finish, man. You'd never finish. So, and we're going to come back to that. So scratch built, kit built, out of the box. Let's talk about box cars for now, okay? Because it kind of applies across the board to everything else. Those are the 3 basic ways you end up with the box car. If someone gifts it to you completed, it's out of the box, okay? There's kind of a little bit of a in-between there where it's kit bashed. Kit bashed is a kit that you built, but you might have used some other components of it. So it's kind of in between scratch built and kit built. And sometimes you take a couple kits, sometimes you take a kit and you modify the kit without getting another one. So I'm just going to say the three major categories: scratch built, kit built, and out of the box. So which one costs the most? That's a tricky question, because what's the cost? Is the cost financial or time? I think it's both. I think it's both. Okay. So y'all know that I'm scratch building all the turnouts in my layout. That's a lot of time, but it's worth it to me to do that, to have that higher quality and more consistent turnout. Now today with the Walthers turnouts, with the new Walthers turnouts, and I've said this to some folks, I probably would not have scratch built all my turnouts because of the quality of those, even though they cost a whole lot more. It cost me $5 to make a scratch built turnout. $5.50 because Barbara laser cuts the tie plate or the tie strip that goes under the turnouts. Okay. $5.50. How much does a Walthers turnout cost today? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How much?
I don't know, 25.
You haven't been to the hobby shop recently.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're in the 30 plus range now. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, there's a trade-off there. Okay. But let's go talk about this a little bit. So we've talked about some of these. How close to the prototype does it need to be? No. How close to the prototype do you want it to be? Think boxcar now. Okay. How close to the prototype? What are you willing to sacrifice for that price? And I'm going to have some examples here in a couple minutes. How much damage to the models are you willing to accept? You know, who else is going to touch them? If you're the only one, probably get away with some finer detail on there. But if you're having ops all the time, that's something else. So is it for ops? Is it free running? Is it display only? A little bit of difference there, you know? Do you want them all to blend into the scene? Or do you want that one model to really stand out? And sometimes we're going to spend a little more money on one freight car because it's unique. Nobody else makes it. I know it costs a lot of money, but man, it's really cool. And I just got to have it. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's going to stand out in that string of boxcars. Bob Dawson and I have talked many times about coming back from Bob Weinheimer's layout and going, well, that was pretty boring watching a train go by. Yes, it was, because they all kind of blended one into the other. They're all that boxcar red Pennsylvania side. Now there were some incentive per diem boxcars, and there were some others here and there, but for the most part, it just blended, and it looked right. It looked right. So I got 3 different railguns. They're all HO scale. Which one do you want? Can you tell the difference between the 3? Bob Frankrone can, I'm sure. But can the rest of you tell the difference between those 3? Really? Especially you guys in the back of the room. You know, that's kind of like the HO scale 3-foot rule, right? The top one is Arrowhead models. How much did we pay for those, Bob?
At least 65
And that was when
before shipping.
And that was when an Athearn Genesis freight car was going for $25.
Right.
Now, Arrowhead is not around anymore, unfortunately. The owner of the company had a horrible automobile accident, and he just stepped back from it, and he's doing some other things now. So you can't buy one brand new. If they were still manufactured today, that'd be a 100 quarter model easily. But man, is it cool?
Had to have at least one.
It was really. They are cool. I got 2. Okay. Walther's main line in the middle. How much are those now?
What, 35?
35 probably. When I bought the Arrowhead, it was probably a probably a $20, $25 model at most. And then there's the MDC roundhouse car that I bought in the late 80s, early 90s that started out with horn hook couplers. Yes. And Delrin wheels, you know?
You got a bunch of those.
I got a bunch of those. They don't have any horn. So how much was that? Well, it ended up being a $10 to $15 model by the time we put metal wheels and Katie couplers on, okay? But can you really tell the difference once you do a little bit of weathering to them?
Doesn't that Arrowhead car have scale sides?
Oh, not just scale sides, they were metal.
Oh, I know they're metal, but that'll be top down is how you tell the core will be so small and the side will be so small. So if you know,
well, actually,
types, that's what you look at.
And actually, I cheated a little bit on this. I blacked out all the tie down holes that are on the top as well.
That's why I was looking, I didn't see those, you did cheat, yeah.
If I had left them in there, everybody go, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I cheated a little bit on that one.
It's got better brake.
But my point is, any one of those three would probably do just as well as the other one on the average model railroad. You know, you probably don't need that then $65 model. You probably get away with train show, throw some metal wheels on it, throw a good Katy coupler on it, and move on. You'd probably be okay.
And
For most
weather
of
it
us.
And put a load in it.
And put a load in it. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Most of you know that the McLeod is near and dear to my heart. If we ever get trackage rights to the northern part of the layout, and Ms. Barbara's listening, so she knows what I'm talking about. Okay, she's online. Then we will also have a small area that interchanges with the McLeod. So just tuck that aside. So there's the prototype. This is a picture I took in the Mount Shasta yard way back in the 80s sometime. That's what we want. So MDC and Roundhouse came out with that in 1979. Is that model close enough?
No, it's too tall,
How much too tall?
probably 8, 10 inches.
So not quite a foot.
Carve it off,
Well, that's going to be tough to do
yeah.
for the average modeler, and not worth the effort, not worth the time.
So is that a per diem car? Or do they have?
Those are incentive per diem cars, yes. So
Whose is it?
MDC and Roundhouse,
No, who really made the prototype? Yeah.
FMC. FMC made all the McLeod cars.
To answer your question, it's more than good enough.
Is it good enough?
Absolutely.
Not even close for me. Why not?
Doesn't have enough side posts.
It does. It has the correct number of posts.
Side sills are different.
Side sills are very, very close. I could paint those with brown paint. That'd be a quick fix. What's hard on this is the decals are way too large. The McLeod River Railroad Company lettering is too thick. The bear with the mountain behind it is too wide. I'd have to strip those off and put new decals on it. That ain't close enough for me. Too much work and effort, time for me to accept this as a car. Now, I probably bought one of those and painted the bottom. In fact, I know I did, and painted the bottom sill brown because that was all that was available. That was all that was available. What about this one? Ather, 1980s. This is a no-go in my box. If you count to the right of the brown doors, on the prototype, there are ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the model, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I cannot fix that easily. This car would never come home with me because of that. Got it? What about those big old lugs underneath the doors? Well, if you paint the sill brown, they're going to blend in anyway. But the fact that it's got 6 ribs instead of 5, for this guy, that's a no-go. I can't do that. What about this one? It has all the same problems of the last one, plus I got to paint the doors and the bottom sill. How many ribs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only supposed to have 5. That to me, that really bothers me a lot. Would it bother you, Bob?
No, because I don't count. I mean, I don't count them. I mean, I just,
So again, it wouldn't bother Bob Frankrone. It would bug the out of me. And when I saw that, I went, that ain't right. I saw it in the hobby shop and went, something's not right. I had to go find my pictures and, 35mm slide and go, oh, I see what's wrong.
Plus, when you have a company like Apple that has so many resources, why are they putting stuff out like that? I realize it was the 1980s.
It was the 1980s, and the FMC did do some 6 on either side. So they just went close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
What about this one? This is ENC LBF. Same problem.
Oh, God.
Same problem.
Load by Fred.
Okay. How about this guy? Atlas 2013, 2019. This is like a $30 boxcar.
Getting there.
What do you think?
for sure. I mean, yeah, it's identical.
Getting better.
What do we miss? What are we missing? What's wrong?
So.
Yeah, it's not been weathered. Okay, it's not been weathered.
If a room full of 25 people can't tell you what's wrong, it's close enough.
So the McLeod guys I know, and someone that worked on the railroad, when this came out, said you need to fix two things. You need to put the yellow wheel inspection dot on the right, bottom right. You need to put the ACI label. You need to weather it and put it on the railroad. You're done.
So the car is done, it just needs to be detailed.
But you know, that's nothing.
Takes 10 minutes.
Okay, so this was a $25, $30 car. All these guys before that were in the $5 to $15 range. But I wouldn't, you know, they're not close enough for me. Okay.
How many do you need?
What about this? You need the wheel inspection dot, the yellow wheel inspection dot in the bottom right. Other than that, it's almost identical to the Atlas car. Now, this is an image, a graphic rendering of it. The brown on the actual model is closer to the photo that I have there. So don't worry about that. So,
Plus lube stencils will change depending on when you model.
oh, absolutely.
The 2 black boxes, or if you go real late, you gotta have the 3 black.
Oh, yeah. Barry and I have talked about that where it's like, man, I really want that boxcar. It's like almost perfect except that lube decal. But I know it was built in 1980. I can backdate that lube decal real quick. Absolutely. So talk about focus to stretch your modeling dollar. I just told you I'm going to spend more money instead of less money, but I'm spending less time than I would on the others. As part of the MMR, I did the car certificate. I scratch built 2 box cars for the chassis system. I don't know chassis, but they did make it out there. I've got photos of one of them being out there, and that's okay. And Weinheimer had modeled one of them, and he had all the information. Then I did more research and added to it. That took a lot of time. And believe it or not, each of those box cars with the parts, all the details, ended up costing me about $30 a piece to do. It was the time that cost me more than anything. Okay. But to this day, no one's manufactured, no one's producing those box cars. So if I really, really, really want it, that ends that back to basics. Next month, we'll do something totally different for back to basics. We're done. You ready for a 5-minute break?